From the station on your side, this is Wavy News 10.
Isabel is definitely on her way.
It's fallen into the Atlantic Ocean.
The eye of the hurricane is passing over.
It's going to be the big deal about this.
Washed away.
There's an awful lot of water.
Specifically remember before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm.
I'm gonna go check and see if it's split.
Thing came in kind of slow, so we were well prepared for it, and we knew we were going to get a big one.
I remember them calling for evacuations here.
It's just went.
And at that time, the storm was a monster.
I believe the governor at that time was visiting as well in the studio, and I said, you need to see this. It was like 3 days before. You need to see, this is going to hit hard.
Right around the core of the storm as it makes landfall.
It was just hour upon hour of wind and rain. Our street in Hampton is known for flooding, and the water just kept rising.
The flooding was up so high, stayed up for, pretty close to 10 hours, 8-10 hours.
And it woke a lot of residents up, I feel, to the dangers that storm surge can bring to our region.
We used to have a little bit of tidal flooding once in a while. You'd get a big nor'easter, maybe you'd get some tidal flooding then. Now we get tidal flooding even in some minor events.
Here, the tides are really a big part of not just one small community, it's really all the communities get affected by it.
In the 20 years since Isabel's rampage through Hampton Roads, the sea level at Sewell's Point has risen 3.75 inches. And it doesn't seem like much, but it's not what our infrastructure was built for years ago. And the science simply tells us that the levels will continue to rise, and that just means water is going into places it didn't before.
Questions that I think we need to answer to think about what scientifically that looks like in Hampton Roads. And they're not trivial, they're not just science projects, because it would mean impacts for the people who live here.
Crashed right into the pier there.
Flooding is a major problem all across
the big difference is with the water levels, they'd probably be higher than even before, and we had some major flooding at that time.
Our economy is driven by maritime. We absolutely have to be wherever the water meets the land.
We will see another storm that significantly floods our area.
Waves on Hurricane Isabel.
Mention going to go up. This time there's probably going to be more things to flood in the flood zones.
Trying to think about what we do in the future and what our communities look like in the future requires some imagination, and it's not going to look at all like it does today.
Each storm will have its own kind of characteristics and we'll have our own memories. Now, a lot of them that come through, we don't even really remember a year later on what happened. While we don't get a lot of the big ones here, we have seen them before and we might see them again.
It may not happen this year, it may not happen next year, but it will happen.